Yo, what's up YouTube, man? It's your boy Action Jackson, man. In today's video, I'm going to be bringing you guys my mock draft that I did for the Dallas Cowboys in the upcoming 2023 NFL draft. So before we hop into the video, I would appreciate if you guys would like the video, subscribe if you're new, comment your thoughts on your ideas of the draft and what ideas or what player would you have drafted instead of what I did. And also share my video with anyone who you think might enjoy my content, man. So hopping straight into it, man. Normally, when I'm doing these mock drafts, I like doing it in the ideas of what the Joneses would do. Mainly Will McClay, Stephen Jones, Jerry Jones, what they would do in certain scenarios when coming into the draft. Normally, when they go into the draft, they normally like going into the draft addressing needs that failed them the season prior. And a couple of examples of that were, if you look at the 2021 draft, after we had a horrible season defensively in 2020, that was the year that Dak Prescott had went down in the Giants game, and that was just a wild year within itself. But you guys saw that we were horrible defensively. Yeah, we had certain pieces like DeMarcus Lawrence, Jordan Lewis, Anthony Brown, Trayvon Diggs. We had a couple places, a couple key players in places, but we did that entire draft in 2021 mainly on the defensive side of the football. Like first round, we went Micah Parsons. Then we got Kelvin Joseph in the second round. Third round, we got Chauncey Golston. We got Osa Digizua. We got Nashawn Wright. In the fourth round, we drafted Jabril Cox. Seventh round, we drafted Israel Mukwamu. So we drafted, out of the 9 picks we had that year, 7 of them, we drafted defensive players. And then you looked at, after that year had ended and we lost to the 49ers in the wild card round, we saw that we weren't as physical as the other teams that were in the playoffs. So then what did we do the year after that? We went just all physical. We tried to work on our trenches and try to get more physical all around as a team. We addressed that first round with Tyler Smith. Second round, we got Sam Williams, a player who led the SEC in the sacks with 12.5. Then, of course, first round you had Tyler Smith, who was a bully of an offensive lineman. Then you drafted John Ridgeway. Then you drafted a lot of different other guys, Damone Clark, things of that nature. So when Dallas Cowboys coming into this draft, what failed them again versus the Niners, it wasn't being physical. That was not even an issue. It was that you lacked playmakers on the outside for your receiver for Dak Prescott. Also, you had pressure up the middle, which you didn't want. It wasn't as bad, but you definitely want to get this offensive line back to what it used to be. And you also want to get better in the secondary, mainly cornerback too. So for me, for the Dallas Cowboys to get better moving forward, and I feel like what the Jones are going to do, especially depending on how the board falls to them, I believe they're going to go BPA like they normally do. But in this one, you want to get, how I did it was, I believe they might want to get this offensive line as strong as possible as it used to be back in 2016, because that's when you saw Dak Prescott have one of his better years as a Dallas Cowboy. Other than, 2016 was one of his best years, and you look at 2019, and you look at 2021 before he had his calf strain, and also in 2022 he had a good year. So, that mainly 2016 when people fell in love with Dak was because we were able to protect up front when it was time for Dak to drop back 25, 30 times. And we were able to run the ball and have a lot of good open gaps for lanes for a guy like Zeke Elliott, who was, a lot younger back then. So long story short, I had them take Osiris Torrance, which is a pick I really, really falling in love with after seeing his Senior Bowl reps and what he's been going up against, and seeing some of his film at Florida, what he did. SEC offensive lineman. He went up against Jalen Carter. That's one of his best opponents that he's went up against on that front seven. Like I said, an SEC guy. He played a lot of great talent. He's played a lot of NFL-like talent. Like I said, Jalen Carter is one of them. Defensive lineman for Georgia. He's seen Will Anderson. He's seen a lot of these top prospects that are coming into the draft. And it was, he had a lot of great reps in the Senior Bowl that I was seeing from, and he was dominant. And he played right guard. at Florida, but he's able to, interchangeable. He's able to play left guard and right guard. Obviously, can't play right guard right now because of Zach Martin, but he can potentially be your Zach Martin replacement because you don't know how many more years of elite play that you can get out of Zach Martin. So it would be really great to have a guy like Osiris Torrance fill in for you at that left guard position next to a Tyler Smith, which would be lovely because you have two dominant, nasty offensive linemen on that side of the ball to pair up with the inside with Tyler Biotish and Zach Martin, and then Tyrone Smith replacing for Terrence Steele until he comes back until like November, December. So, like I said, I really fall in love with this pick with Osiris Torrance. Hopefully that's somebody that Dallas Cowboys will look at in the first round. But I don't know what the first round is going to look like come around in April. Who knows? We might be able to get a guy like a Joey Porter that you can see that was picked a pick prior to us by the New York Giants. They definitely do need help on that cornerback position. That definitely is somebody I'm looking at in this draft. Another person I loved in this draft was that I like so far in the draft process is Jordan Addison out of USC, 6-foot route runner. I like him. I like his game. Jackson Smith, Njigba at Ohio State. I really like his game as well. That's definitely somebody that falls to 26. I would love to pick up, pair him up outside, opposite with a CeeDee Lamb, or we can just have him in the slot. And depending on how Michael Gallup looks like in camp, Michael Gallup might be your number 2 receiver. Then you can put Jackson Smith in the slot and have CeeDee Lamb, of course, be your number 1 wide receiver. Another prospect I love coming out that you can see right now, I like Zay Flowers. He went 2 picks after to the Cincinnati Bengals. And Bijan Robinson, he's fine in my opinion. But the only way I'm okay with getting a running back first round is if we let go of both of our backs. Zeke, if we cut Zeke for cap space and we don't re-sign Tony Pollard, because if the front office doesn't feel confident in a running back coming back from a lower body injury, then I could definitely see the Cowboys, if Bijan were to fall down to 26, I can see the Dallas Cowboys selecting him. So that's just the first round. The first round shows you all the players that got selected. What I just did, I just took a picture of a screenshot of the first round. But in the second round, who I decided to go with was wide receiver Jalen Hyatt out of Tennessee. Now, Jalen Hyatt, I really love this prospect as well because I'm looking at a lot of receivers, a lot of interior offensive linemen, because those are our 2 most needs in the draft, along with cornerback number 2. But I feel like the Dallas Cowboys are going to want to either move Deron Bland onto the outside, bring Trayvon Diggs, of course, will still be your number 1 corner, but your slot guy will be like a Jordan Lewis because he's still under contract for another year. So I can definitely see the Cowboys rolling with those 3, and then of course maybe drafting another cornerback in latter part of day 2, like round 3 or early day 3, like round 4, round 5. Yeah, Jalen Hyatt, a receiver out of Tennessee, like I was saying, what ESPN has him ranked at is a 6 foot, 180 pounds receiver. He is definitely a speedster. He is your guy that can stretch the length of the field. He's a 4-2 guy. This is definitely somebody that I can see the Cowboys using, especially with, Mike McCarthy calling plays. And then also, you got to look at Schottenheimer now being your offensive coordinator. He's most likely going to be your pass game offensive coordinator. He's going to set up the main principles within the scheme. And Schottenheimer used to be on staff with Mike McCarthy, so Mike McCarthy is, he is used to a guy like that, and he has seen his work and everything like that. But hey, Jalen Hyatt, I would definitely love to see with the Dallas Cowboys. 6 foot junior, he's lightning quick. Like I said, he runs he's easily going to run in the combine like a 4.3, 4.2. He's definitely one of those Tyreek Hill like guys where you can utilize in the pass game, but he can also just beat you over the top. Of course, someone's going to have like that Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle type speed, but he's going to get close enough to it. And he has nice route running as well. Not the best, but it definitely can use some fine tune. And I definitely know that the Cowboys, they definitely do a really great job at developing their players. But if you just looked at what he did in 2022 with Hendon Hooker, who was a really solid college quarterback before he suffered his lower body injury. Before, I believe he tore his ACL. I think that was the injury he suffered. But dude, 6-7 receptions. That was tied 41st in the SEC, or in college football in general. He led 5th in college football with 1,267 yards. Receiving, he had 15 touchdowns. And then he also averaged 18.9 yards a catch. And then also, you look at his prior years, it didn't look that well, but, he had spotty quarterback play. So, playing the Dallas Cowboy uniform, definitely somebody that Dak Prescott will love. And Dak Prescott has a good enough arm in the NFL where he can definitely spread it out and give it to a guy like Jalen Hyatt. And he's not only a guy that you can only put on deep routes, and also he can get behind the secondary, but he also is somebody that you can use in the screen game, use in the bubble game, use on jailbreak screens, anything like that, tunnel screens. And 2 picks that I selected that I think the Dallas Cowboys will go with if they were selected with these players in front of them. Osiris Torrance definitely is one of those guys, offensive guard that can play left guard for you in the meanwhile. And once Zach Martin's able, he's on his way out of the door, you can kick him right into right guard. Jalen Hyatt, that's definitely a receiver, a speedster receiver, a 4-2, 4-3 receiver that the Dallas Cowboys desperately need with this offense. And you compare him up with probably of emergence of a Jalen Tolbert. Michael Gallup probably looks a lot better, especially with this being the second year coming off of his torn ACL. Who knows what those wide receiver core looks like. Maybe they still draft a Jalen Hyatt, and then you go out there and you make a free agency move. You possibly get a DeAndre Hopkins, or you might get a Michael Thomas, or you can sign a guy like a DJ Chark if the Detroit Lions don't want to re-sign him. Juju Smith-Schuster. There's a bunch of wide receiver veterans that will hit the free agency market. So that's my first round mock draft first of many that I'm going to do throughout the off season. Let me know what you guys think about it, everything like that. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have a nice day. See you later. Bye.